Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to every
I'm sorry.
fucking time.
The fact you said you were in a rush made me do it more.
God, okay. We're just gonna keep going, okay, guys. This is a Dragon Ball Super discussion, and if you remember from, what was it, episode 54 or something, when Goku went to go see the Omni King, he was like, no, just let me go now and I'll bring you someone to play with later. So we're gonna actually be talking about me and my guest, who you probably should know by now, is World King Kanji. Kanji, please say hello.
Who that guy?
Who that guy?
Who that guy? That guy, World King Kanji. I'm happy to be around.
No, guys, we're going to talk about our top 7 choices for who Goku should bring back to the Omni King and be like, here, play with this.
This.
Yeah, this, because they're not people in Goku's eyes. He's just so childish. So I'm gonna let Kanji just introduce the first one, because this was his idea, and it's actually kind of interesting if we break it down a little bit. Who is it, Kanji?
Right, yeah. So in the last episode of Dragon Ball Super, we saw 2 kids introduced into the Mai and Trunks refuge that was going on, where they're all taking place, form a resistance against Black Goku, or Goku Black, whatever you want. I really can't be bothered at this point. But those the kids' names were Maki and Haru, and it's interesting that pointed out that they have names. So as opposed to just being children, they're obviously going to have some kind of role that comes back, because usually if it's a character that's not going to appear more than once, unless it's for a comedic standpoint, they usually don't actually go to the trouble of naming them. So obviously these guys have been specifically pointed out, probably in Toriyama's notes or something, to actually get mentioned. So one of the ideas that could be the case is they could actually be the 2 kids that he takes to the Omni King to play with, because obviously it would appear that their families are dead and they don't have a whole lot of joy going on in their lives right now. Sorry, that was probably a bit cruel, actually. Oh, sadistic Kanji. But yeah, so basically, those 2 are somebody I could see actually being a selectable candidate.
Mm-hmm. Plus, the one thing was Goku doesn't really know, or he didn't know up until that point, or up until like whenever he makes the decision on who to bring. So yeah,
he didn't know prior to that, and we don't know that he knows now. But because he didn't have anything immediately in mind, that could suggest that these 2 came in at the perfect time.
Exactly, and he obviously has. Hopefully Goku's thinking about that, because you don't want to actually piss off.
Fucking forgets and just leaves the Omni King. The only thing of any notable importance he mentioned to him was the fact he was lonely, and Goku just goes, well, I played with him. That solves that.
Anyway, so I'm going to introduce the next one, honestly. What do you think about this? I honestly think that you could bring in Mr. Satan or Mr. Boo in order to play with him, because one of the cool things about Mr. Satan is, playing with the Omni King, or being able to, quote-unquote, play with the Omni King, Mr. Satan would love that luxury, that life, just the presence of greatness and being kind of leeching off of that, and it'd be like, oh my god, but also he's weak, and he'd be so fearful of the power involved with that kind of relationship that it would just be, comedic gold. In my opinion.
I agree, and I mean, also with that, we've seen Mr. Satan do the parenting role, a couple of times, obviously with Videl, and then when he met Mr. Boo, when he was trying to, when he actually became friends with Fat Boo, he was much like a parent to Boo in many cases, so we've seen him play this role before, and also, wouldn't it be hilarious if Mr. Satan was able to, talk the Omni King down from destroying something, and then he could be the savior of the universe, or the Omniverse! It's all thanks to Mr. Satan, sort of thing, that would be the ultimate kind of, Mr. Satan role there.
Oh my god, that would play in so well for a lot of this stuff. I mean, obviously, Mr. Satan is such an interesting character because he's so charismatic. But on the same point, with Mr. Boo kind of throwing in there, obviously he could take a brunt of a very small Omni King attack. So perhaps they would be kind of a good match as well. So we'll just lump those 2 in together.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, as you say, he could take a couple of attacks. He might be able to make him laugh or something, but he's very simple-minded. I'm not suggesting the Omni King's simple-minded, but in many ways they're kind of they're kind of similar in the sense their characters are a bit one-dimensional.
Mm-hmm. And it would be really interesting to see the dynamic between the Omni King and Boo. I feel like those 2 are I don't know, they haven't really given Boo a whole lot of screen time, but like you said, their mindsets would be so childish and similar that they might get along really splendidly.
Yeah, so speaking of childish-like minds, I mean, what do you think about the next one on the list?
Goten?
Yeah. He's childish, come on. Come on.
I don't want them to get rid of Goten.
Fucking bombs him. I don't like that guy. He said, that's my fucking son.
I don't want them to get rid of Goten. Like Goku's just like, Goten, you haven't done anything this arc, and he just throws him over to.
He kind of looks like me. He kind of looks like me. The Omni King will never notice if I shave a few feet off myself. I just love it if he's like, go on, Goten, go play with the Omni King. And he's like, oh, right. And then the Omni King just goes, no, and just blows him up or something. Like, next one, please.
That's pretty good. Honestly, I don't give a whole lot of a weight to the whole Goten thing. I just think they're not gonna pawn off like a major character in that sense. Not that Goten's been really major in this arc, but they're not gonna pawn off someone like that. If they do, it's gonna be something like a Mr. Satan, where it's like he becomes kind of like a cohort and he can be taken to and from to play with the Omni King whenever the Omni King beckons. But like,
I think
don't know.
If they did that, it would be a Goten and Trunks thing, because obviously, let's be honest, they've been so silly during the entire arc, and then obviously, the entire story, and up until this arc, they haven't really been doing a whole lot over the last couple of episodes, because Goten and Trunks haven't had a whole lot of screen time, and even prior to that, it was mainly just Trunks getting the screen time.
Mm-hmm. So, I do have one. It's not on the list that we have here, but I'm going to throw it in anyway, because I did think of it, and we just didn't let it down.
Bonus round! Bonus round!
I think, honestly, this is one of the ones that I actually really would like to see is Pilaf and Shu.
Yes.
Because you can't really get rid of Mai, because Mai's become too like important for this entire series, but Pilaf and Shu, they need to go somewhere. And you talk about characters that would really love luxury while also fearing for their lives the entire time. Like, that's
basically what they've been doing the entire story.
Through the beginning of Dragon Ball and everything, they love luxury, and then but I feel like that is a good thing, that like that's really a funny kind of concept. It would also help the show kind of write off the Pilaf gang a little bit, to have them come back later. I mean, imagine if they go to the Omni King tournament and like you see them and they're just like freaking decked out. And
well, also not only that, and the fact that they like the luxuries and everything like that, but the entire purpose of Pilaf's entire character was to take over the world. Now, to stick him in a situation where he's the Omni King's friend or something, and he personally feels like he owns the Omniverse or something, you know, that would perfectly wrap up his character arc from the entire, like, I don't want to say, you know, three series, because he didn't even appear in Dragon Ball Z, but you know what I mean anyway.
Mm-hmm. No, I completely understand. I think that would be really funny. Plus, like, I would just love to see them come back for the Omni King tournament, and then like Pilaf and Shu are just completely decked out. Like they're just
grills and all sorts.
Exactly. Like, that would be so funny to me. Like, I would legitimately laugh at that, because it's so into their characters. But anyway, we got a couple more to go over here. Some of them I'm really excited about, actually, because I feel like this is like, we have really good guesses on this list. But
I mean, I think it's one of those things. I mean, if we move into the next one, I mean, this has been something that's kind of been playing on my mind more of a sort of, because of the way the story's been written so far, is because a lot of what we have seen so far, we have seen a lot of the Omni King, obviously, like, playing around and being that kind of silly, like, childlike, authoritative figure. But on the same hand as that, and again playing in with the Pilaf and Shu and my situation from a couple episodes ago, we've seen Pan also have that, you know, completely playful side of it in the story. She hasn't really had any, like, the character is, I know she's a baby before people start commenting. Of course she hasn't fucking had a relevant character arc. She's a baby, Kanji. You expect too much. But anyway, like, you know, the way that her character has obviously been written and everything, she has just been complete playful. We've rarely seen her cry. She has literally just been giggles and smiles and sunshine. And it's, I could imagine, like, Gohan and Pan going up to play with the Omni King, because Gohan's character's kind of, you know, become a bit of a sissy. He doesn't really care about fighting anymore. He just wants to look after Pan. And I could imagine him trying to look after the Omni King and Pan at the same time, kind of thing. And, like, you know, every time the Omni King looks like he's about to do something destructive or whatever, and Pan sat there laughing, Gohan's, like, stepping in front going, no, 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 no. So, like, I could see that being funny. Like,
I would actually really love that. I mean, just seeing an entire episode where it's nothing but like a Pan and Omni King play date.
and I mean, imagine. Sorry, just to interrupt you. Also, imagine if they actually give Gohan a power up so he can defend against the Omni King. Maybe he trains alongside the Omni King, so he's actually able to thwart anything he does. That would give all the Gohan fans a massive sort of yay.
Or whatever one of those attendants is like, okay, we'll train you as like, just so he can, he can get in front of the Omni King whenever he decides to, when Pan makes him mad. But just having a like Omni King and a Pan Playdate episode would just be phenomenal. I mean, one of the best things about Super is its entirety, is the slice of life episodes, and there'd be no better slice of life episode than a Playdate episode.
Well, it's clear that that's where they're going to head after this arc. Is the next thing we're going to see is like a slice of life episode featuring the Omni King and whoever Goku picks to be his new friend.
I'm really hoping that too.
Yeah, I mean, like I think it's one of these things because Goku could go and play with the Omni King on recurring sort of like bases, but he's never going to stay with the Omni King. And so I think like the next three choices we've got to go through are people who could potentially just stay put with the Omni King.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about the next one?
Yeah, I do, because I kind of feel like if Goku's the one to actually choose who's going to go play with the Omni King and for what particular reason, I feel like a really safe bet would be Monaka. Not because of like Monaka, because not only is Monaka like a really funny character to put in that situation, but it's also Goku's mentality that like, look, I'm compared to like Black and everything, like that was a hard fight. I'm not as strong enough to be with the Omni King, kind of relinquishing that. And he's like, but who is? Monaka. I think that would be so hysterical, just like throwing him in and putting him in that situation. And then Beerus is like, you could have Beerus just be like, oh god, no, this is really stupid. Like,
what have we done?
Tell him that I can't tell him I lied to him. So like, you just let Monaka just go play with the Omni King.
Fucking Beerus feels like he's sentenced him to death. Like Beerus and Whis are just like, I love that. Oh no, that's perfect. I have nothing to add to that because I think everything you've just said makes perfect sense with the way that his character's been written. That would be one of the funniest moments in all of Dragon Ball, I think, if that happened.
I would absolutely love it. That would be so funny to me. Yeah. But we're just going to keep moving on. One of the, like, this is probably the most out of left field answer that I could think of is Trunks and Mai's cat from the future.
Well, you say, like, out of left field, but, again, they gave it screen time to the point where, because, I mean, it's not really, like, they didn't need to do that. Like, you didn't need to put, like, anything that looks a little bit like Scratch the cat, Dr. Bree's cat. Mm-hmm. They drew, I mean, the thing that really fucking pissed me off, if I can just go off on a tangent here for a split sec, is yesterday, when they aired the Resurrection F Future Trunks cut, sorry for people who are going to be watching this when this is long after yesterday, when it's eventually uploaded, but anyway, at the very beginning of that, you see a cat that doesn't look like Scratch, so it's like, is Scratch just like a stupid breed or something where he's completely black and only has a mouth and two big eyes? Like, why don't all the other cats look like it, like Scratch and whatnot? But anyway, yeah, I digress. I think that there's a good possibility that the Omni King would be happy with Trunks' cat, much like Mr. Boo was with Bee, the puppy.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. Plus, like, how he is lonely. He's saying he's lonely, so like, there is no other, like, that. Every time we see Scratch, all he is he's just like hanging out with Dr. Briefs or Trunks or wherever timeline or whatever he lives. Like, that cat must be like 40 years old by now if it's the same cat. I mean, who
fucking
knows?
Mechanical or something. He's turned it into an android. Like, took all those parts from Android 16 that he actually took from him. Like, he built Scratch out of a bomb.
It's just a bomb.
He's a fucking rogue bomb. Just rolls him into battle and just blows everyone up. So, I've got to make another one now. Poor Scratch.
That's how they're gonna take out Black Goku.
With a black cat. Oh man.
Dragon Ball Super, Scratch's Revenge.
It's a fucking movie now. Shit, dude. That'll get some promotion.
Anyway,
but,
I actually am excited about this last one.
Yeah.
Whether people have thought about it or not, because obviously this last episode of Dragon Ball Z threw a huge curveball at us in terms of...
Last episode of what?
Shut up. When Goku like asked Gohan to fight for him, it was like, whoa. That was yesterday. No, wow, what a stupid joke. Anyway, like the last episode of Dragon Ball Super threw a huge curveball at us in terms of Yajirobe is still alive in Future Trunks' timeline, and Karen is completely dead. Like, everyone is completely dead.
Not just a little dead, but completely dead. Nice one, Mark.
We're talking about cats, and, you know.
So he's taken 8 of his life but left him with 1.
So,
yeah.
like, I feel like, in terms of just to bring this back, like, full circle from where we started, like, you know, in terms of characters introduced in the last episode and characters that have already been like kind of you know, solidified in the Dragon Ball canon, and kind of jokingly somebody who would really love the, you know, just the luxury of playing with or being involved with the Omni King, but also fearing for his life like every moment of every single day. Yajirobe, in my opinion, would probably be the best bet or joke in that particular situation, especially since, you know, this is just another alternate version of him, and there's no one to really, you know, there's no one to, there's no one else, like, we're not losing a character, but at the same time, we're giving up an entire character we never have to see again.
Yeah, I mean, this is one thing with it as well, because, I mean, Yajirobe has always been one of my favourite characters, which a lot of people are probably going to find bizarre, but if you watch Dragon Ball, you will become emotionally invested in Yajirobe. In the first, like, season of Dragon Ball Z even, like, you will find yourself actually giving a crap about him, because he's got that selfish character, but he has like shines of brilliance. Like, he has shines of moments where, like, he goes back and collects Goku when he's been fighting King Piccolo, when he climbs Korin Tower with Goku on his back. You know, there are moments of epicness with Yajirobe, and Dragon Ball Z just writ him off, just made him, like, you know, go and stay in with Korin, and then just pretty much had no relevance except for getting in the way and making situations actually filler and boring and blah 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 padded.
But you're right. You're right. Even Dragon Ball Z gave him some shine. So it's like he didn't give up. Like, he might have run away during the fight with the Saiyans, but he came back. And even they canonized the version in this story too in Super. He did fight against the androids. Like, he does step up to the plate when all is necessary. And if the Omni King starts to get mad about not having someone to play with, like, he's the type of character who would step up and, you know, take the hit.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of these things like Yajirobe, like, I always felt really bad for his character, because his character just kind of did nothing. He just stopped. Like, he just stopped getting involved. He just stopped doing everything. And yes, I mean, it makes logical sense of the fact he couldn't compete and keep up with Goku and everything, but his character was just written off. And the fact that now, literally, he would be homeless even if they got all of this done. Because seriously, like, Bulma would probably offer him a place to stay, but Bulma's dead. So, you know, like, he doesn't really have a whole lot of choice. And so it's one of these things. So I kind of get the impression that it would be a really good place to kind of go, okay, Yajirobe, here's your final, like, fantastic moment. Even if it's not the Yajirobe that we know in our timeline, it is a nice little last moment for Yajirobe. And I think, with that being said, that he would be a good choice. Because, I mean, like, let's be honest, we've seen him play with Baby Trunks in Dragon Ball Z, and he's just that silly character that will get scared and run away if the Omni King ever threatened to, like, you know, kill him or something, and he'd apologize. He'd probably make him laugh like a jester would.
Exactly, like that. We've already seen him have this type of relationship throughout the entire series. So, in my opinion, I think he is the best guess going forward. Of course, any of these 8 could actually be the person that Goku chooses, or it can be just a complete curveball from this and being someone completely different, or they just never bring it up again. But
yeah, but if any of you guys, like, in the comments or anything, like, want to have an idea or a guess, and you guys have got any ideas as to why you think somebody might actually go on to be the Omni King's new friend, let us know, because I'm really interested to hear all of your ideas, even if this is Mark's video. Because, like, because seriously, when you pitched this to me, I was like, that's a really good idea. I want to think about that. So, like, I want to know what everyone else is thinking, because this is a bit of one of those bizarre videos where it's not that important, and not a lot of people are talking about it, but it is really interesting.
No, I that's what I thought, and I didn't actually think we'd get 20 minutes out of it. But damn, I do feel like we've said some really interesting things about like just certain characters, their dynamics with other people, and how they would basically, based on what we've seen, how they would interact with the Omni King himself, and for what reasons would that be a good idea or not be a good idea. So anyway, guys, like Kanji said, if you have any of your own ideas, please share them in the comment section below. Please go make sure to check out Kanji, because he does some really funny content. If you've laughed at
Who that guy?
Who that guy?
Who that guy?
All he does is interrupt me. All he does is interrupt me, guys. Okay, guys. Anyway, go check out Kanji if you want in the comment section. He'll be in the description below, not the comment section. He'll probably be in the comment section.
Probably.
Let's hope.
I have nothing better to do with my life.
Anyway, guys, we're going to catch you on the next video. Have a nice day.
Who that guy?
Bye.
Bye.